Accelerators organization. I am Joel Gandara, and I want to ask you to bear with me. I'm a bit under the weather. I'm recovering from what my wife calls a man cold. It was legit, though. I'm pretty sick. But happy to be here. I always look forward to these. I love answering these questions. I love reading them and thinking about them. And so thank you for having me. Thanks, Sean Thomas, for always inviting me to do these. I probably get just as much out of sharing information as the people who are asking the questions get answers. I always say this, and keep it in mind, even if you did not ask a question, I think you should ask a lot of questions. That's how we learn. But even if you did not, listen to people's questions and issues that they're having, because in that answer, you're going to get something out of it. One day you're going to be in a situation like that. Or one day, you never know, you're going to be an investor in a company and you'll have gone through this exercise and something clicked, something got plugged into your subconscious. And now you're going to have a potential solution. Not that I'm giving the perfect solutions, but you listen to enough mentors and see how they would handle things, and you'll get better. That's the key, to keep improving. All right. So a little bit about me. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur since the fourth grade. What else? I own an apparel company. I I own an e-commerce fulfillment center. So we have a warehouse where we receive products for people, keep their inventory there, ship out. I'm also an author. I coach mostly men. I'm going to do a shameless plug, but Sean has been a good supporter and bought a bunch of books from me to give away. I wrote a book called 31 Days to Become a Better Man, and I coach men in these groups. And on the outside, on the other side of that, there's phenomenal growth where these guys are really changing their lives. A lot of people ask me, why don't you do one for women? I'm not the voice for women. I'm not the one who's going to be an expert on that. I'm more of an expert on being a man because that's what I've done for almost 5 decades. All right, let's jump into it. Here's the first question. It is from Kimberly Benjamin, and she asked, what are things to take into consideration when compensating employees and contract workers? One of my businesses is a hair salon, and I want to sell direct to consumer products. And I have my sister who has a great deal of followers online, and I want to offer her a way to make money with me, focusing on sales by posting the products and bringing in new business. I would like to offer her a commission since I don't have the budget to do salary. What are some things I should take into consideration to incentivize her and make sure she is happy and I make a profit? So, if I understand this correctly, Kimberly, you have the products and your sister has a following. So you mentioned one thing like a salary. Salary never. That's not a salary type position. You want to incentivize your sister on what she brings in. If her leads are good, if her followers are good and they buy, then great. Then she makes money. A salary keeps you guys going in the wrong direction. You hear how businesses are against unions and a union against the business. They're both going in different directions. One wants more money, one wants to give less money. You don't want to set that up. What you want is for all your arrows to be aligned, you guys to go in the same direction. You sell more, she gets more money, right? She brings in more new followers and they buy more, then you get more money. And you both are working together in the same direction with the same goals. That's how you keep a relationship better, I think. There's always going to be conflicts in relationships. Why not set them up in the best way possible? So, what I would do is simply commission. Figure out what that percentage is. Are you okay giving 5% of the total sale? Check your profitability. If it's a $50 item, do you make $10? Is that your net profit? Can you then afford to give her 5%? What's that number? So come up with that. But again, be aligned with your sister. Set the expectations from the beginning. Be clear on who's handling what, how much she earns, and be very clear on that profitability. So you don't overpromise and say, yeah, I'll give you half the sales. No, you probably can't do that because you have a cost to your products. You have a cost to ship it. So do that math ahead of time and save yourself the headaches and problems later, especially with family, because you have to keep seeing family. Next question is from Jessica Stahl. When do I know if I should fire a team member, whether it's a contractor or employee? I have a business consulting and coaching business for the roofing industry. I have an employee, even though they have not technically signed their W-2 agreement, that I pay $75,000 per year. She performs well in some tasks, but we are having a very serious values system and respect and boundary problem. She speaks to me as though she has no respect for me in the company, and many of her personal mannerisms have come into the workplace and are completely unprofessional in private and in public settings, even with team members. I know I should let her go, but there is one client that owes us a lot of money, and I'm concerned that they will not pay or keep paying. And I'm also a little bit concerned about her trying to compete with me. What should I do? Fire her, or I should say this is causing me a lot of stress as well. Jessica, absolutely, this is causing you stress. You probably haven't been through a situation like this many times. I have. And a lot of the mentors in here in the Accelerator organization have probably been through this multiple times. I'm going to give you the really quick answer. Fire that person today. Get rid of them immediately. Do the things that you need to do. Talk to clients, whatever you got to do, and fire her. If that client owes you money and they don't pay, well, then you're going to have to deal with that separately. But you never, ever have anybody hold you hostage in your own business. Do not do that. You can't have an employee control you that way. You didn't set up your business to live that way. And that shows weakness on your part, and that's not going to lead you to good things. You set up a business so that you can have a good life, make a good living, and run your own show, not to be handcuffed by an employee that you're paying $75,000 a year to, and they're disrespecting you. That's not acceptable. Um, the best thing would have been to the first time that that employee disrespects you, you pull them aside and you have a conversation. You say, "Excuse me, wait, let's get something clear. I respect you. It doesn't matter that I'm your boss or not. Just two human beings. We have to respect each other. That's the way it's going to work around here. I really need you to play that way. Is that going to be a problem?" And boom, address it in the moment. You don't let these things go because now it's too late. It's just a chain reaction of disrespect and making you look bad and making you feel bad and causing you a lot of stress. That's totally unacceptable from that person's point of view, but it's also unacceptable for you to allow it. Whatever you allow happen, whatever you excuse and let it keep happening is what you're accepting. So don't accept that. Lesson learned. Don't let this ever happen again. I'd get rid of that person right away. If that company doesn't pay you because she's gone, then you sue that company or you do what you have to do. You take them to collections, whatever you got to do. But don't live your life that way. You're sending a bad message to your other employees. You're also sending a bad message to yourself that you accept these sort of things. So, Jessica, do not allow that. Get rid of that person right away. All right, next question. Sorry, guys, please bear with me. All right, next question is from Catherine Pollard. How do I figure out what KPIs I should be monitoring for my position with my company? I am head of accounts for a marketing agency and want to provide measurable goals for the growth of the company as well as for myself. So that it sounds, Catherine, I'm assuming here that in this role you're an employee potentially. I would network a lot in your industry so that I get to meet other people who do the exact same thing that you do for a living and brainstorm with them and ask them, hey, I'd love to have coffee with you. I'd love to have a chat with you, a Zoom call, whatever it is. Here's what I'm tracking, and here's what I'm wondering. What else can I track? And can you share what you track and how we can get better? There's got to be like a mastermind or a little group on Facebook for people who have this role. If not, you can start it. But if you don't want to do all that, that's fine. Reach out to 3 people today who you'd like to chat with. And whether you know them or not, send them a message on LinkedIn and you start that message by congratulating them on your position that you've earned in your company. It looks like you guys are doing great things. I have nothing to sell you or solicit you with anything. Here's what I do. And I'm trying to talk to a few people to see if we're all on the same track. I personally have gotten great results when I reach out to people and talk to them in the industry, competitors, formed great relationships that way. So network, network, network. Grow that business, grow your role in that business by learning what the best thing to do is. That's my number one recommendation. It doesn't happen enough. In fact, in my book, there's a day on this 31 days of challenges on growing your network. And I say precisely that. Reach out to the people who you'd love to have a conversation with. Some of them are a little out of reach and you go, I don't know if I'll ever be able to talk to that person. Great, do it. What do you have to lose? For guys, I use this analogy a lot in business. For guys, we're used to rejection. Men have had to approach women since the beginning of time and get rejected. It happens all the time. So guys are pretty good at that. They're not as scared to go out and say, hey, how you doing? Can I get your phone number? And no, get away from me. Okay, move on to the next one. But historically, women have not had to do that. So sometimes when I coach people, women have said, oh, I don't know. What if they say no? So what? They say no. You're here. You don't have them as a contact in your life right now. If they say no, you don't go down. You stay exactly where you are. If they say yes, you go up. Zero to lose, everything to gain. And that's why I think everybody should practice sales. You know, there's a company called Cutco Knives, and some of the most amazing people that I've known have started off there when they were younger, going door to door selling knives. I never did it, but I wish I would have. What an experience to get the door slammed on you, um, told no, get the hell out of here, cussed at, threatened, because that's what life's about. You're going to have to hit up some people and get a lot of no's before you get those yeses. But put in your mind, there's going to be 99 no's, and then there's a yes. So get through the 99 no's, get to the yes, and move on, and then go for the next 100. So I know you're asking this question about KPIs, and I'm going on this tangent about networking. Networking is the solution for a lot of these things. So that's my best bet, because I could tell you some things, but I'm not the head of accounts for a marketing agency. I'm not going to tell you the best thing. Those people will tell you the best things to do. All right, next question. Rohit Gupta. You know, I don't know Rohit, but Rohit asks a lot of questions here. So I'm going to guess that Rohit is probably on a pretty good trajectory in life. And Rohit, if you're not where you want to be today, I don't care. You're on your way, because you always ask a lot of questions in here. And that's what it's all about. I know what happens to the rest of you, potentially, because it used to happen to me. I didn't know what questions to ask. I was always confused. So not knowing what to ask is very difficult. Just fine. Listen to everybody else's questions on here and see what all the other mentors say. All right. So Rohit's question is, how do I determine price per unit when shipping is involved? Is there any formula? The example he gives, it's a short one, but he says, I sell imported snacks and drinks. I recently made an order worth $530, which is 214 units, and $40 for shipping. So, Rohit, excuse me. So that's a tough one, because there is shipping involved. I have e-commerce businesses. I own a fulfillment center, so I understand your question. You could come up with a formula, play with the numbers. Uh, if you have to understand your margins too. So in my business, I have an apparel business. I know that I make this product for $3.50, and I average about $15 when I sell it, meaning that you could buy one item from me and I could still pay your shipping and I still make money. But I don't do that. I have a minimum order value of $50. So now I know that you've bought 4 pieces from me at $15 as an average. That's about my average. So if you buy 4 pieces, you're at $60. So you get free shipping. But that cost me $14 in cost of products. So $60 came in, $14 a product. I have to pay my fulfillment center, which is my own, to pick it, the employees, the rent, and a lot of stuff. But I can afford that $5 of free shipping, because there's plenty of margin in there. So that's what I would play with. I would look at what your average order is, look at what the shipping costs are, your actual costs, and just do the math and play with it. You're not going to get it maybe the first time, but you can adjust it. And at the end of the month, here's what I like to look at on the profit and loss statement. I have a finance day where I go over that with my number 2 person. And we look at how much we spend in shipping, and we look how much revenue came in shipping. For us, it's not always a profit center, because we do a lot of free shipping, but it's fine because our margins are high enough. But we do look at that. You have to be aware of those numbers. So that's my recommendation on that. Hope that helps, Rohit. Next question is from Lamont Gray. How much should I pay myself? I provide point of sale systems and security cameras to businesses and homeowners. I have grown my business from being a side hustle to the point where it earns more money than my regular 9 to 5. And I'm now transitioning into my business full time. Should I pay myself the same salary as I was earning in my 9 to 5? Pay myself a salary that is competitive to the position in my industry locally, or pay myself a percentage of the profits I earn each year? So Lamont, there's some rules or some best practices as far as the IRS is concerned. I'm not an accountant, I'm not an attorney, but I've always had a set salary in my business. I actually haven't given myself a raise in like 15 years, but I have a set salary so that I comply by maxing out my Social Security salary. Because Social Security I'm no expert, but you have to pay Social Security taxes. You have to pay your payroll taxes, right? I don't think the IRS wants you to just pay yourself like a minimum salary. and then have the rest of it be distributions, because then they get cheated on some taxes or I don't know, some fees or something like that. So I would talk to an accountant. First of all, congratulations. You did it the way I did it. I had a 9 to 5 and I had a side hustle. And as soon as that side hustle started picking up, I quit my 9 to 5, and that was the best feeling. I know there's a lot of you who have that 9 to 5, keep grinding. Once you surpass that income, you can drop this one and give it full attention. That's phenomenal. Um, yeah, so I would look for a salary that you feel comfortable taking that out automatically every month or every 2 weeks or whatever from your business. I would not recommend doing a percentage. That's not really a salary. A salary should be a fixed number. It's easy to calculate. Taxes get taken out. It's all done properly. So that's my recommendation. Talk to an accountant about that. There's plenty of accountants in here. Rosalie is one of them. She could probably help you out with that. Now that you are moving this from a side hustle to like a serious thing, there's going to be some steps to take to start professionalizing yourself. Like I said, with an accountant, making sure you're doing things right. Nothing crazy, but just making some minor adjustments there. All right, next question is also from Lamont Gray. What different bank accounts should I have for my business, and what is the purpose of each? Provide point of sale. Okay, so same question as before, or same topic. It's the same guy. Let's see. Oh, but there's more questions here. So there's more background. I provide point of sale systems, security cameras, IPT service, and IT support to business and homeowners. I have 2 standard business accounts at 2 banks and a few personal bank accounts. In the early stage of my business, I use my personal account to cover business expenses and also receive payments from clients. I have since transitioned to making all business purchases on my business account, but still allow clients to send payments to my personal account for their convenience. It is becoming very difficult to manage and see revenue from my business, as both my personal and business accounts seem to be mixed. Do I need to clearly establish accounts like operating account, business savings account, personal operation, personal savings? Yeah, Lamont, that's exactly what I would do. That's what I do. I have Each of my businesses has its own operating account. And then when you have a number 2 or some people who are going to have access to funds, I would have a spending account as well, and they have access to that one. I might have $3,000 to $5,000 in there at any time. They can make small purchases or do whatever they need. So that I don't have any employees who have full access to all the money in the accounts. So I have an operating account, and then maybe like a savings account. I'll usually have a money market account, and that's where I try to keep more money because it does earn interest, and less in the operating account, because the operating account's like a checking account, may earn 1%, while the money market might be earning 4% currently. So, but I would have a credit card for each business. So in your case, you have this one business. You have a credit card for all your spending, so it all comes in one place. It gets paid by the operating account, and you're done. Any other vendors that aren't on credit card, you write them a check from the operating account. And if you want to have savings or money market for the business, absolutely. And then personal needs to be separate. There's something in legal talk about piercing the veil, and it's a veil between, again, I'm no expert, I'm not an attorney or anything. It's a veil between your personal life and your corporate life, and there should be no ability to pierce that and see that the two are commingled. Never commingle things. Whenever I've done loans to my businesses, I have written a check. That's in my personal accounting. Let's call it, I lent $1,000 to my business. I write that in. That is owed to me. That's in my personal account receivable. It's in my business's accounts payable. It owes Joel Gandara that $1,000, and it needs to make payments on it. It needs to pay it. Those are 2 separate things. You don't move things back and forth. Again, when you're starting out, I get it. I did that as well. I mingled it, commingled it. It was a mess. You have to professionalize your business, and you have to take it more seriously and start treating them like you would a corporation that you have partners in, a corporation that you have shareholders in. You would not be mixing your own money in there. That wouldn't be fair to them. It'd be confusing them. Most of my businesses, I do not have partners. Some of my businesses, I do. Either way, I treat them all as if I have shareholders and as if I have partners. So I'm doing the right thing no matter what. I want complete transparency. You want to be honest with the business, with yourself, and you never know. One day you might be bringing in a partner. I'm in that situation now, exiting a business, bringing in a partner on another business, all these things. I know that I can show my financials, and they're going to see that it's 100% clear. In fact, I had a call yesterday with an investor or somebody coming in to buy one of my businesses, and he asked a question, and boom, I was able to give him an instant answer. I go, yeah, that's why it's written that way. It's owed to this business from this one. perfectly clear. I can explain that in 1 second. So I always keep that in mind, because you might be thinking of today, but think about the future. You're going to grow this thing. You already passed your 9 to 5 income. Who knows where you're going to be at in a year or 2 or 10? So start professionalizing that business. All right, Lamont, I really hope that helps. Next question. We have a lot of questions. Good job, guys. The next question is from Desiree Thompson. Hi, can you please give me some pointers or strategies on how to set quarterly and yearly financial goals for a small e-commerce and wellness holistic coaching business starting out? My habit is going too big and then fading. Maybe the best way to ask this question is to say, looking back, sorry, looking back when you first started your business, how did you set your business and life goals? So Desiree, I am not, everybody's different. Again, that's why it's good to ask these questions and get the opinions of different people in here, different mentors. I was not a shoot for the stars, go big and then fade away type of person. I'm a very disciplined, little baby steps at a time type of person. So every day, if I say I'm going to do 20 minutes of this, I'll set my timer and go. And I do 20 minutes of that. And I just keep plugging away. So I don't know what the future holds. I don't recommend, again, here's something contrary. I'm very contrary to the average or the typical advisor out there. I don't recommend dream big and shoot for the stars. I don't recommend any of that. Not at first. At first, I say dream small, take small actions, and see what happens. So, where are you today? Where do you want to be in 3 months? All right, let's work on that. Those are simple steps because you're not going to explode this business 10x in 3 months, most likely. If you do, fantastic, go for it, and then set bigger goals and keep going. But just set these small goals. And the reason is for what you just said. What you said is very common. People go big and then they fade away. They fade away because it seems unattainable and it's too far out there. I can't reach that. Perfect. Then set small goals. I've had clients, they're all business owners, but we talk about everything. I've had coaching clients that we talk about fitness and they told me they can't do 100 push-ups. I say, great, do 5 push-ups. Every time you go down to do push-ups, do 5. And they go, oh, that's nothing. I can do 10 easy. Okay, then do 10, but whatever. Shoot for 5 and let's see what happens. They do the 5, they realize that's a joke, and then they start doing a little more. Then they do 10 for a little while, and guess what? They start doing 15. But that's what most people need are small steps so they don't get overwhelmed and they don't fade away. All right, that was Desiree Thompson. I hope that helps. Thank you guys for bearing with me with my voice and my cough. I hope all of this stuff helps. Keep grinding, keep after it. Thanks, Sean Thomas, for inviting me. Have a great day, everyone.